Hello, hello. Uh, I'm sure you guys can hear me fine. Just welcome to today's webinar. We're excited to have you guys here. If you're joining online on YouTube, of course that's what we are streaming. Welcome once again. Today is going to be quite insightful. We have our speaker behind the scenes already, so we're just going to sort of get started quite quickly and. Yes, right on time. But maybe we just wait a bit for about 2 minutes tops, and hopefully we get a few more like viewers, and we can kickstart this. So in the meantime, just share the link, like Alpha, all right? Like just share the link, share the link with a friend, a colleague, someone who might be interested in this webinar, and let them know that we are about to get started. So yeah, speak to you guys in a bit. All right. Yeah. So, guys, welcome once again. I can already see comments in the comment section that the guys are here. I see a couple of people already viewing. So, yeah, once again, welcome to Ministry of Testing Ghana, and our very first webinar this year. We have a lot of things in store for you guys. Essentially to grow as a community and to share insights with professionals and so many other things. Yeah, so first of all, you're welcome once again, and this is Ministry of Testing Ghana. The goal of this community is basically to share testing insights, quality assurance insights, and typically the software engineering field. We work under more or less like a broader organization called Ministry of Testing, which is based in the UK, and we are just a wing or a community here in Ghana. They have so many other communities across the world, and we are privileged to be serving as a part of this wing in Ghana. And just basically enjoy the time today. And yes, we are going to just get started right away. So I have Salom behind the scenes. Today's webinar is going to be talking about navigating the QA career. Of course, if you're already a QA, you know that our field is quite interesting. We have a lot of things that we encounter whilst we are on our journey and all of that. So Salom is like a very seasoned professional. He's currently serving as a senior QA engineer, and I think he has a lot of things that he can share, and uh, some insights that we can also pick from him as well. So I'm just going to bring him up on stage, and Salom is going to take it from there. Yep, I'm sure you should see Salom now, and yeah, Salom, can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're currently live, and I think you guys are excited to hear what you have to share with us today. So yeah, you're welcome once again, and just tell us a bit about yourself, your experience in QA, how you got started, and what you have for us today.
All right. Thank you very much, Ministry of Testing, and I'm glad everyone who has joined would be learning something. So my name is Saloma Holu, and I'm a QA engineer. Let me say a senior QA engineer, and also a QA manager at two different sites. So that's what I basically do. And with my experience, I've been able to gather lots of knowledge in the world of testing, be it manual testing, automation testing. And with automation testing, I've probably gotten the chance to work with different automation tools, Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, also backend automation, and almost everything relating to software testing. At least I know, even if I've not covered or probably covered most of them, and I have some little experience in different software industries. So I hope what I'll be sharing today would be valuable and our viewers would get something to take home, think about it, and see the very best they can get out of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear more. So yeah, we can definitely get started. But just before that, just tell us a bit about how you ended up in QA. Did you end up in QA by chance? Because a lot of people never actually knew QA when we were getting started.
Yeah.
It's like for instance, I started my career as a data analyst and had an opportunity to join QA, and I was like, oh, okay, I like it here. So how was it for you? How did you start? What was your experience like? Just need a minute.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I think I started. So when I was in school, university, we had a group where we do develop software apps for competition. So whenever we do that, basically I was the person behind doing some of the testing. Even though I was doing testing, I really didn't know that was something that was actually a very good career path. So after school, when I started my service, I just made up my mind to just read on it to see if there's any potential in software testing. And to my surprise, I realized there was a lot. And I was so amazed. And right there, I started drawing my plan how to be a very good, successful QA engineer. I downloaded books, I downloaded videos, I signed up for courses, and that was how I started. So, me starting, I had to make sure I got the fundamentals right, understanding what testing means and the various career path that the software testing has for us. So that was how I started, and thankfully, I've been able to at least let me say be a little, let me say a master of some of the tools when it comes to software testing. And yeah, so that was how I started. And I think I started about eight. I'm getting to my ninth year in software quality assurance. So it's something I've done for relatively a long time now. And I've enjoyed the journey, even though it hasn't been smooth. But I think if you are determined and you are very diligent, you should be able to find your way around. Yeah, so that was how I started with my QA. So it was something that I purposefully made up my mind to actually do.
Yeah,
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 it's
that's
been worth it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, this is a little bit about Selom and, his background, what he does, where he is currently. So, yeah, I know we are looking for the meat, right? So, we are just going to get started right away. So, Selom, the floor is yours, please. What do you have for us today? Yep, the guys are waiting. So,
All right. Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome once again. So, in today's webinar, we are going to be taking a look at navigating the QA career path. I know there's a lot of questions that people do ask what QA is, how do I get to become a QA engineer, and what you need to expect, the insights, and everything that you probably need to know under QA. We will be discussing it today. So, first of all, we need to understand the QA career path. And in understanding the QA career path, these are some of the main points that everyone needs to know. So in QA, we have different career levels. We also have specializations that each individual might probably want to take. And as any other software development program, there are also growth opportunities. So first of all, let's begin with our different career paths. So as a QA, you don't just stand up that, oh, I'm a senior QA engineer. It entails a lot. It involves going through some processes, going through some hierarchy in order to get there. And I would want to begin from the very first one. So, if you are a QA engineer, or if you want to become a QA engineer, you first of all need to be a trainee or someone, let's say an intern at some company. So basically, what you'll be doing as a QA trainee or intern would be that you will basically be learning the basics of software testing, applying it in your work field, and also assisting in writing and executing test cases. So it is because you do not have the experience, they will tell you, oh, assist me in writing this test case or modify this test case for me or execute this test for me. So with that, that is where you actually begin. So once you are assistant, from there you'll be learning a little bit from the senior QA engineers, and you'll be knowing the do's and don'ts when it comes to QA. So once you know, or some companies actually offer growth opportunities. So once they know you are improving very fast, they can probably transition you into a junior QA engineer where you would take sole responsibility in executing the test cases, and you'll be reporting defects. Maybe there's an issue that you found, you would have to report it yourself. You wouldn't have to tell someone to do it on your behalf. And also because you've gained experience in assisting your other colleagues when you were an intern, you get to get some good experience with tools like Selenium, probably the Selenium UI. I think, I'm sorry if I'm being a bit complex, but there's a tool called Selenium which is used for web browser automation. So with the very first one, I think there's a very simple one that you can do your clicks and basic clicks. It does the record and play, and you can use that for your software testing. So as a junior QA engineer, you get some of this experience, and you would be working under supervision. Oh, you need to do this, then you have to pay attention that, oh, as a QA engineer, this is what I've been told to do. I need to execute my manual testing. I need to report defects and all. So as you are going through this, you will definitely be learning one or two. And if there's growth or if there's good progress from you, we can transition you to a QA engineer. So over there, you know, you would be able to design test cases yourself. You would be able to execute the test yourself without any supervision. You would be able to take charge of most of the things that you'll be doing as a QA engineer. And also, you would also be tasked to be doing tasks like functional testing, regression testing, and also exploratory testing. So with there, we know you've already gained some experience. So when you're being tasked to do such tests, you wouldn't find it difficult to do that. Yeah. So once you are good with QA engineer, as a QA engineer, we can probably also move you to senior QA engineer, where you know that there comes a lot of responsibilities and a lot of pressure on you. So over here, as a senior QA engineer, you'll probably be dealing with, you would have to lead the test planning and the test strategy, what needs to be done in this epic, what needs to be done in this sprint. You would have to direct the team on how you want to do things when it comes to software quality assurance. And also, because you've already gained experience, you'll be the person to create test cases, the automation test cases for the products or the software that you are testing. And in doing that too, because you have very good experience at this site, you would have to be maintaining some of the test cases, the automation test cases that have been developed. Also, in addition to that, once you are navigating through the career, you would realize you'll be gaining more experience in other automation tools such as API testing, performance testing, and also security testing. So as a senior QA engineer, you realize you would get most experience with a lot of QA tools and most things that helps with software quality assurance. Yeah, so once you're a senior QA engineer, definitely you will start eyeing to be a lead QA engineer, which also comes with a lot of managerial positions. or managerial tasks. So with this, you would have to be managing the testing efforts across multiple projects, especially if the company has 3, 4, 5, or 6 projects that they are working on. You will be the person in charge to manage all those activities, making sure the software that has been developed is of good quality, is of higher quality. Because if there is an issue, it's you, the lead QA engineer, who will be held responsible. Why is this thing failing, or why do we have this issue? So it comes with a lot of responsibilities, and also you would have to ensure you are guiding some of the junior QA engineers, making sure they are actually doing things that they are supposed to do. Yeah, and also after that we have the QA manager, who, let me say, is the overall boss. So in some companies, they would actually decide that after you've passed the lead QA engineer, you can be the QA manager, or you can be the QA director. And over here, you would be overseeing almost everything that comes under the QA department. So it's more like you'll be doing some part of the things that the lead QA engineer will be doing, and also you would be doing them yourself. Yeah. And also you would have to define testing policies, and also standards that the company needs to achieve. So in every company there will be some standards that, oh, in every quarter we need to reduce the bug defect ratio from this percentage to this percentage. And as a manager, you would have to direct and make sure you are managing all the projects well, in order to achieve that um, in order to achieve whatever target that has been set for you. And in doing that too, you would have to be communicating the test results. You would have to be communicating with the stakeholders that this is what we've been able to achieve within this quarter, this is what we plan on doing, or this is the vision we have for the next month or for the next year. So that comes with a lot of responsibilities. And aside those responsibilities, you would also be helping each and every one on the team, because every individual on the QA team is actually under you. So if you want to move, or if you want to succeed, you should also make sure the people who report to you are also doing well, and together you all would have to grow, and you would have to get a very good QA career path. So that is it about the career levels. So the next thing I would probably talk about is going to be the specialization. So as I was saying, when you are a QA engineer, senior QA engineer, and all those things, it comes with you specializing in different career paths. So with this, there are a lot of things that you can probably specialize in, and we have automation testing, we have performance testing, and we have a lot of specializations each and everyone can probably specialize in. So let's take a look at the automation testing. So with the automation testing, first of all, before you can actually start writing automation testing, you first need to have a very good knowledge about some 1 or 2 programming languages. You don't need to be a master of a programming language, but at least making sure you understand the basics, making sure you understand how basic programming works, should be able to give you a green light on how to start writing automation testing, where you would be writing reusable test scripts that will be used to test or validate the functionalities of the software you are doing. So basically, you are actually writing test codes to go through the system to test and making sure this system is actually very good. So in automation, there are a lot of tools based on the programming language you learn. So let's say for Selenium like this, if you know Java, you would be able to write automation script with Selenium. If you know Python, if you know JavaScript. So it doesn't matter that, oh, for me, I only know JavaScript, so I don't think I'll be able to write anything under automation, but that isn't it. Because it's broad, there's also the flexibility to help you choose any language that you are comfortable with in writing your automation testing. So the next thing would be performance testing, where you would be trying to evaluate the system. You'll be trying to evaluate the system under load and stress. So what this actually means is you'll be pushing the system through various stress, making sure that, hey, let's say if we have 2 million users using our application at that time, how is the system going to behave? And having that specialty is something that most companies also value. So you will be able to know that, hey, if this product that we are pushing to our customers, if let's say if it gets to Christmas and everyone is trying to get on board, trying to do some transaction, how is the system going to do? So having that specialty in doing performance testing will be able to let the company know that if this number of users are trying to access the system at this point in time, this is how it's going to be. And in doing that, we have tools like JMeter and K6 that's going to help you perform this performance testing. So the next thing is security testing, where you are trying to identify weaknesses in any software, and you can use tools like OWASP. You can also use tools like WebSuite, which actually helps you to, aside you checking for the security of the system, it also helps you to prevent security breaches. So the next thing under the specialization would be DevOps testing, where you will try to incorporate development life cycle into the QA that you are doing, or into the automation script that you are building. So basically, you are developing CI/CD pipelines where you push the automation code and you'll be monitoring the progress of each test that the pipeline is running. So with this, it also comes with some knowledge that you need to know, basically under container orchestration, you knowing a little bit of Docker, you knowing a little bit of Jenkins, and I think TeamCity and all. So all these are tools that can help you to perform this DevOps testing. And the next thing that I'm actually curious about, and is something that I plan on learning maybe in the next half of this year, is AI testing, where you will be using AI-driven tools like Testing and Applitools to optimize and test most of your test cases. And also, there's another aspect where you would have to be validating the accuracy of machine learning models. You would have to be training them. As you are training them, you'll be validating to see if I train this model up to this very point, the answer is going to give me how good it is. So you would have to be doing that testing to know, to get to the point where whatever training or whatever training you give to your AI model, if it's actually giving a very good response for what you need. If it's not, you would have to report to the developers that, oh, this AI model that I'm training is not actually responding to this training, or it cannot memorize whatever thing that I'm telling it. So doing those testing helps you to be have some knowledge about AI testing, and it's something that myself I've actually started looking into. So the next important thing is API testing, which basically deals with validating API responses, status codes, error handling, and all. So basically, you are trying to test the back end of you are trying to test the back end. So with this back end, this is actually so the backend actually communicates whatever thing that the UI is going to see. So sometimes the UI will be fine, but what goes on in the backend is something that most people do not know about. So validating those things would also help you to do that. And in doing API testing, you trying to validate your responses, status code and all, you would have to get tools like Postman to do it. So Postman basically helps you to do basic API testing, and you also have tools like Rest Assured and also SOAP UI to help you to automate this API endpoints that you've been given. And the last thing under the specialization is going to be mobile testing. So as we, like almost everyone knows, we all use mobile in our day-to-day life. I think we probably spend about 4 hours of our entire day looking at our mobile phones. And all these mobile phones, we actually do enjoy the software on these mobile phones because people actually took the time to test these products or these software applications we are using in order to make them very good for we the users. So in doing mobile testing, you would have to test across different mobile devices. You would have to test across different size and screen sizes, because when you take a look, we have different types of mobile phones. We have different types of screen sizes. So whether you would have to make sure this software application that I'm testing is actually working on a 5.0 inch screen, is working on a 7.0 inch screen, or whatever screen size that you are using. So you ensuring that irrespective of the mobile application or the mobile device each user is using, still the user is supposed to experience that how do we call it, that good user that good usability. So in doing this mobile testing too, it also comes with skills that you actually need to know, and the most common one is Appium and also Browser Stack. So let's say you are not good with your automation yet, you can probably use Browser Stack, which gives you the ability to test on almost every mobile device, be it Android or iOS. And under Android, you can test different iOS versions. If it's Android, you can test every Android version, and if it's iOS, you can test every iOS version you want. So you don't need to buy all these devices if you want to do mobile testing. Yeah, so that is it for the specializations. Yeah, so let's take a look at the growth opportunities and the software QA part. So as I mentioned earlier, so we have this growth part where you actually move from left to right, and the other side, that is you moving from the bottom to the top. So let's take a look at the lateral part, which is you moving sideways. So with this, first of all, you become a QA engineer where you know the basic stuff about software testing and all. But as you can't be there forever. So this gives you the opportunity to learn automation tools, which then transition you into, let's say, a software QA automation engineer. So with this, it gives you the opportunity to learn different automation tools in order to help you with that aspect of your career. Once you get, or once you know, oh, right now I'm good with test automation or test automation, you can probably say, oh, then let me try to chip in performance testing, where you are going to be validating how good the software performs under stress or under load. And once you are doing that, you are actually growing, because now you have experience as a normal QA engineer, you now have experience as automation QA engineer, and now you've added performance testing. So you realize as you are growing, you are accumulating these skills because you are doing more research, you are growing, you are learning, and you are applying them in whatever thing that you'll be doing. Then you can also probably say, oh, once I know basic automation and performance testing, let me try to take a look at security testing. So So with security testing, we also have the white hat and we have the black hat testing, where you can be actually testing the vulnerabilities across software system. And also you have the opportunity to do DevOps testing, as I mentioned earlier. And also, when you're doing this lateral part, you should know, as you are gaining these skills, you'll be transitioning from, um, let's say, a junior QA engineer to a normal QA engineer to a senior QA engineer, QA lead, all the way to being a QA manager or QA director. So as you are learning sideways, also you would be growing in like a vertical order, meaning you are climbing up the ladder. So these two go hand in hand. So these points under the career level, the specializations, is something that would actually guide you to understand basically what the QA career path is about. Kwame, I don't know if we need to if our viewers have some questions so far on what
Yeah,
we
there,
discussed.
there, there, there are a couple of questions currently, but we were trying to have you, target 10:40. So, like in the next 8 minutes, you can probably finish your slide, and then we go ahead and have like a conversation around the questions that people are asking, from your slides. So, yeah, there are a
Okay.
couple of questions we currently have, but let's
Okay.
just go through that a bit. So, maybe we can try and run it up a bit in the next 8 minutes because
All
that's
right.
what we.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know time was running that fast.
No, when
Okay.
you're talking, yeah, it's amazing. Please go on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So let's take a look at some of the essential skills with QA growth. So as I mentioned, you first need to make sure you have the technical skills. So this technical skills comes with you knowing basic software automation, which you can probably choose that, oh, I want to specialize with in Selenium testing, Appium, API testing, performance testing, and all. So once you know this software, this applications, it should be able to enhance your technical skills when it comes to QA. Um, it should be able to help you with your technical skills when it comes to QA. So alongside that, you also need to make sure you've developed your business awareness. So this means that you first need to make sure you understand whatever product you are testing, because you can't call yourself a QA engineer without understanding how the software works. So this comes with a lot of readings, you trying to read more, understand what this product is about before you will be able to start with your testing. Because if you don't understand how a product works, trust me, there's no way you would be able to test your application. So the next one is going to be communication. So as you are testing, you've written your automation code, you understand how the product works. You also need to know how to communicate with, let's say, the developers. Oh, I found a bug and this is the issue. So proper communication is going to help the developers do their work very well. And also with this soft skill, you also need to know how to analyze how system works. Critical thinking. Let's say we found a bug on this software, and we need to know exactly what the problem is. So you having this critical thinking skills is something that is going to help you analyze whatever thing that's going on, to break down, to find out whatever issue that problem is. So that is another skill that we need to know. So the other skill is leadership. You trying to guide other colleagues. You trying to communicate exactly what is the problem to other team members um, and other people on the team. So these skills, basically, your technical skills, business awareness, soft skills, and your leadership skills should be these four things should be something that you need to really pay attention to. So let me go to the next slides. Okay, so how to so what we need to know now is to how to become a successful QA engineer. First of all, as you are going through the career of QA engineering, you first need to make sure you've mastered the fundamentals. Once your fundamentals are good, trust me, you are good to go. You are not going to find any problem along the way because you know what it entails, what it's about, and you would be able to know your way around. So the next thing you need to know is developing your technical skills. As I mentioned, you having knowledge in one or two automation tools that you need to know. And also, the other thing I will talk about is having a mind solving problem. Mind solving mindsets. So you should make sure you've tuned your mind that, oh, if there's an issue, I'm going to find the root cause of it. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to debug. I'm going to analyze whatever thing that is going on in this system. So having that mindset is really something that's going to push you to do or to become a very good QA engineer. And the next thing is staying updated and also networking with the Ministry of Testing. There are a lot of let's say experts in this place where you can probably reach out to, maybe on their LinkedIn account. You can probably be taking a look at what they post and learning from them. So in doing this, you'll be learning from people who have very good experience in the software testing industry. I'm sure you'll be learning, like, there are a lot of things that you'll be learning, especially if you are actually paying attention to let's say you keeping yourself updated with whatever thing that's going on. If there is a new tool that is out, you try to go through it to see, hey, this tool, how is it going to help me? Just making sure you get a little bit of it, and that's really going to help. So let me go to one of challenges in QA. So most companies actually do not value QA engineers because they feel, or what they do is to test. But you as a QA engineer on board, you would have to present yourself. You would have to advocate for software quality by showcasing the business impact if testing is not being done properly. And the other challenge is you keeping up to date with technology. As technology is evolving really, really fast, tools are coming, different APIs are being updated, programming languages are being updated. So in making sure you overcome these challenges, you should also make sure you are constantly learning and you are constantly practicing. So the next thing under the QA thing is balancing speed and quality. So most software companies would say, hey, next week we are doing a release, so you really need to test everything that we need to do. And as a QA engineer, you'll be forced to do things really, really shabby because you really need to make sure the release is out. So you trying to find a balance between doing a very good work and also doing it at a very fast time is something that you also need to know about. So you balancing your manual testing and automation testing is really going to help you achieve this balance of speed and quality. So the other thing challenge that I'll probably talk about is unclear career path growth. So as a QA engineer, when you start, you realize you do not know where to go. So with this can be challenging. So with this, as I earlier said, you can reach out to people who have good experience. They can guide you on what to do or which career path. If you want to become, let's say, a mobile automation engineer, there are a lot of experts on board who can probably guide you in doing this. So the next thing I'll probably say is tight deadlines and limited resources. Mostly companies do not hire a lot of QA engineers, and this becomes an issue for us. So with this, when you are facing this kind of tight challenges, you should make sure you've balanced your automation and your manual testing. So once you do a click to, let's say, automate your run your automation script. As the script is running, you would have to also be testing manually, so that by the time the automation scripts are done, that time you might also be done with your testing. So that's going to help you meet your deadlines, even though your resources, you do not have that um, enough men on board. Yeah. So in staying ahead of the QA career path, there are things that I would want to talk about, which will be continuous learning. So, as I tell almost every QA engineer, whether you're a senior QA engineer or not, you should also always make sure you are keeping up with emerging technologies, you are learning new automation tools, you are staying up to date, you are learning courses, you are taking new certifications, you are reading blogs, you are joining webinars, you are taking online courses and all. So this continuous learning and skill development is something that is going to really help you. And the next thing I can probably say, if you want to stay ahead in the software QA industry, is you need to think beyond finding bugs. So QA is not just about you finding bugs, but also trying to prevent these bugs that come on board. And also you need to collaborate with your developers, product managers, and also stakeholders. And also you have to learn how to do exploratory testing, where you sometimes you don't need to have all the test documents in order to help you do your test. Sometimes you just have to use your mindset to think through to test this application. So the next thing I would say that's going to keep you ahead in the software QA industry is you joining QA forums. A typical one is the Ministry of Testing. Like, I would encourage each and everyone to join, because there's a lot of engagements under this community, which is where you are going to learn a lot. So you attend meetups like conferences, testing projects, and all. Also, if let's say you've learned some one or two automation tool, you can also start contributing to GitHub, pushing your small code every day on GitHub, and that's actually going to help you. So sometimes a recruiter will probably go to GitHub and will see, hey, this guy is actually doing a lot of comments and contributing to the QA industry. Let me contact him and see if this person will be a right fit. And you don't know, you can probably get a gig out from that. And also building relationships with industry professionals and people who are actually who have some experience, not only people who have experience in QA, but like almost everyone under the software QA industry. So in doing all these three things, I can trust you is going to keep you ahead of the software QA industry. So with this, I would say, yeah, that brings me to the end of my slide. It was really, really, I didn't know time would really
Yeah.
run this fast,
No,
because I had a lot
because
to talk
yeah,
about.
there's a lot in there that you're covering,
Yeah,
which is very good. Yeah, but I mean, people are curious. There's a lot of questions being asked. I personally have a lot of questions. Like, if without the questions being asked itself, if you left for me alone, I probably like ask you so many questions. But we are
yeah,
going to try and ask a couple of questions that people want to know. So yeah, there's a ton of them. I'll start from the top. Uh, so we are currently like in an AI evolution, right? Where
yeah,
everything is like AI driven now. With people don't necessarily go to Stack Overflow anymore. Maybe some software engineers do, but now we have code gens and all of that, like IDs, and AI is all over the place. Even for software engineers, there's that typical stereotype going around that AI is going to take their jobs. Now, how true is that, and how do you apply that to QA? Is AI going to take our job? Because really, you can use AI to generate test cases very easily, and for a fact, it covers a lot of scenarios that you probably wouldn't even think about, right? Than actually doing it manually and all of that. I think the question I'm trying to ask is QA a craft now to pursue, given that AI is sort of taking over, a lot of the things that we do? Briefly, just tell us what you think about it.
Yeah, so I would say still QA is a part that we need to take, even though there are AI models coming up and all. You knowing how to use these AI tools is actually going to help you do your work. So even these AIs, you actually need human intervention to use these AI tools to perform your work. So once you know how to use it, it should be able to help you do your work. So I don't think it's going to take our work, but you knowing how to do it or how to use it to do your work is something that is really going to help you.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm just going to go through them. I'm sure you can see the questions people are asking, right?
Give me a second.
I think so.
Yes, I can see. Give me a second. Let me shift to this screen, which is yeah. So it's QA a craft now. What? Okay, I think that's
Yeah,
what.
so that's the first question that we asked. And the second question someone is asking is, so how can you, please, can you share some books or resources for QA on how to test? Yeah, of course, there are some books that are available. There are some resources that are online. I recommend that you look at Test Automation University. It has some free resources online. Literally just Test Automation University in Google. It takes you there. You have tons of resources free and available. You can also get some free books on Amazon Kindle on some software testing practices as well. And a book that has helped me a lot is How We Test Software at Microsoft. It's a very free tool, free book by Alan Page. It gives you like a very thorough breakdown of how software testing has evolved from the 90s, bigger companies like Microsoft, all the way to how it's being done now. So it's very, very good and it's for free. You can get that. So basically, for questions like these, I would say that maybe it's always good, word of mouth when someone can recommend, but sometimes just a little like Google search can, unlock a lot of things for you. So a little curiosity here and then can also help. But yeah, the ones that I've shared, I think are very good. Salom, do you have any ones to add?
Yeah, so one book that I really loved was Agile Testing by Lisa Crispin, and also How Google Tests Software. So when you read these books, it actually broadens your mind about this whole software testing, how to be a very good QA engineer. So checking out
Yeah.
these books is really going to help you broaden your knowledge. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I hope that answers your question. APT Gedwaji. That's an interesting name. Yeah, the next question someone is asking is if I was getting started with QA today, what can I do? Where can I start to be relevant? Salom.
Um, yes, so you can probably start as a junior QA engineer doing basic software testing, like as I mentioned in the slides. You need to start from somewhere, and once you start, definitely you would know your way ahead. So at least starting as a QA, junior QA engineer, doing basic software testing and also basic writing test cases is something that's really going to get you from the start. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I can add a little bit to that. Is
Yeah.
currently the industry is asking for a lot from QAs. Gone are the days where all we knew was we are doing what we say manual testing, which I hate to say, but now it's a bit more. Companies require a bit more, right? So on the last part of the question, which is where I can start to be relevant. Every QA knows how to write test cases. Every QA knows how to generate a test report. Every QA knows how to do the basics. But what can make you relevant and stand out is to be able to go the extra mile. Extra mile by, companies want you to learn automation. I'm not saying quit what you're doing and go and learn automation, but it's a nice to have always, right? Even if you're not going to learn to write, actual automation, just learn something that will give you like an extra nudge. Maybe learn a little performance testing with JMeter, K6, low cost, and then you have a little leverage than the other QA who probably doesn't know that. So yeah, that's another thing I can talk about. The next question is with automation testing, do we have one software that is capable of testing any application regardless of the software programming language? So I guess the person is thinking from maybe like a low code or no code point of view. There are a couple of them that are very easy to work with, like Tricentis, like TestIm. Those guys don't require you to write any code, or Catalan Studio, right? You literally just install the app, just click, 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 and it records your stuff for you. It's plug and play. You don't have to write any code, which is very good. So those ones are kind of there, but I don't think there's anyone that's. I think there are some. Maybe we just have to look because people are innovating all the time. So yeah, Salom, do you have any ones like that?
I think you've actually mentioned probably almost everything that needs to be said there.
Okay, great. Yeah, so Salom, you mentioned a lot more about DevOps, right? So can you share a little insight on this one? Says, can I move to DevOps without automation testing?
Okay, yes, I would say you can move to DevOps without automation testing. So basically, what you need, DevOps do not require you to have like very strong background in automation testing, but having knowledge of automation testing can be okay. So basically, with a DevOps, you are probably going to be interacting with the code infrastructure. You are going to be interacting with CI/CD pipelines. You are going to be interacting with. You need to know. Okay, let me break it down. You probably need to know CI/CD pipelines. You need to know cloud platforms. You also need to know how to build these pipelines, and also how to manage your containers on each platform. So you do not really need a very strong background in automation, but you really need to know how to manage your container orchestration. That's really going to help you. And in doing that, there are tools like.
Sorry for chipping in like this, but container orchestration, like for someone who doesn't have an idea of what that is, it's a
so
bit.
let's say we are trying to build. Okay, let's say we are a team of QA engineers. I'll be running my test. You see, there's one typical issue QA engineers normally come up with. Oh, this test is passing on my machine. This test is passing. It's not passing yet. So in order to manage all these things, we have containers, or we have images, or okay, let's say we have software products that actually help you to run your test cases irrespective of the environment in which you are on. So if I'm running my test on one environment, that is the result I'm going to get across everywhere, whether I'm running it on this testers this QA engineer's laptop, or I'm running it here. So it's like you've gathered let's say you've gathered one local place where you are running all your tests. So irrespective of the laptop that you are using, it should be able to run. So you would have to download let's say the container, or you would have to download that image from the main, let's say the company's repo. Then you would have to be running it individually on your laptop. So in managing all those things, that comes with your container orchestration.
Right. I think I also kind of add a bit to that. So basically, with DevOps, you don't necessarily need to know automation. But first of all, what is even automation, right? Like automation in the context of QA is trying to write scripts for some repetitive tasks, right? But DevOps in essence is like a practice where there's monitoring in there, there's collaboration with developers, and the workflow, and the process. So they don't necessarily work hand in hand, but it would be nice if you know some basics of maybe some Linux, how to set up some configs, and some other things. Those kind of like really help you to be able to navigate the world of DevOps. But automation, it's more like a specific area regarding QA, or regarding like SRE, like platform engineers, right? Which is a bit different. Or so, in a nutshell, no, you don't necessarily need automation testing, but it will be nice. It's always a nice to have, right? These things always a nice to have. That's great. The next question is, which is in higher demand, manual testing or automation testing?
Definitely, I would say automation testing, because these days when you look at the job requirements that comes in they will definitely need some one or two automation testing. And also knowing a little bit of automation testing actually helps you to bargain more, to get more money.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely is
Automation.
automation testing.
Automation. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree to a larger extent. When I started my career, I was fighting a lot against automation, mostly because it wasn't. I felt like it wasn't something that I I was, because my background wasn't overly technical. Like overly technical in the sense I wasn't a software developer, right? So I didn't know how to program or anything. So the moment I had automation, it was like there was an imposter syndrome. I was like, I have to go into a ground where like I'm not very comfortable, right? But now I realize that if you want to stay relevant, you have to know that you have to learn it, right? So guys, if you're watching, neither of them, like Selom said, automation testing. What I'll add to that is that the industry is now asking for what we call full stack QA engineers, right?
Yeah.
You need to know manual testing. You need to know your basics, which is when it comes to core software testing without automation, you need to understand it thoroughly, right? But they want you to know that and also know how to write automation, right? Because it helps you to be more efficient. It helps you to be more, because realistically, you can't do so. If you work in a larger organization, you can't do everything like just you manually clicking buttons. You can do that. You're going to be tired, right? You can do that in a smaller company, but if you work in a larger corporation, definitely automation is essential. And I'm hoping we all want to, work in like bigger products and all of that. Not necessarily bigger corporations, but on bigger products and all of that. So yeah, you have to find a very good blend of both, I would say. That's where the industry is going now. So Salome, you were talking about the vertical movement, right? So we have about 15, 20 minutes to kind of wrap this up. Please guys, ask your question, because this is where we are going to get your questions to ask, right? So you were speaking about the vertical movement, right? Regarding like QA growth, right?
Yeah.
Someone is asking what determines this vertical movement. Is it years of experience or the kind of projects that you work on?
Yeah, so I think it's a blend of years of experience and the projects that you've worked on. So the more you are working, so let's say some companies actually gives, they take a look at how well you are doing, because each company comes with the, if you're a junior QA engineer or if you're a normal QA engineer, there are things that they expect you to be doing. And once they see, hey, these days you've been like, now like you do all these tasks we've assigned to you really comfortably, and that's when they can say, oh, like now this guy has really improved, this work is now too small for him. So they would probably say, oh, now we can transition you to let's say a senior role, because with a junior QA side you are able to clear everything with ease, you don't struggle with it. And in doing all those things too, it comes with years of experience, because the more you do it, the more you practice it, the more it becomes easier for you. Yes, so that's what I would say. If you have anything more, you can probably chip in.
Yeah, so basically it's a blend, right? It's like it's a blend of both, basically years of experience and the projects that you work on. So there's no one way to, I guess, achieve that growth pattern. So yeah, like Salom already shared all of that. Someone says, please, how will I know if something is a bug or not a bug? Must one have a
Okay.
technique to catch a bug?
So first of all, I would say if the system does not meet the requirements, it's definitely a bug. There's no two
Okay,
way.
so if we are defining what a bug is, what would you say a bug is?
Oh, so I would so I would say it's a defect or an issue of in the software application that causes the software not to behave as it's supposed to behave. Yeah.
Okay. So that
Yeah.
answers the APT get watching. That answers your first question, right? That the basically the definition basically answers your first question. How will you know if something is a bug or not? If it doesn't, the software is acting a way that it shouldn't act based on the requirements.
Yeah.
Software acting a way it shouldn't act based on your requirements, and that is basically a bug, right? And the
Yes.
second part of that is, must one have a specific technique to catch a bug? Maybe Solomon, you have some magic. Maybe you do, and then suddenly you start catching bugs. Do you have
So
any technique?
I for me, I do a lot of monkey testing when so basically monkey testing is you trying to do random or silly thing, misbehave with the application something that really helps you. If they say don't enter, just enter alphabet and numbers, you see me entering some characters or putting in, let's say if you're supposed to enter only 10 strings, I can probably decide to put in 100 strings just to break the system. And in doing that, you would be able to catch a bug. So I think just yesterday with the WhatsApp web application, I caught a bug which I reported. So when you are watching a status and you click on reply, so what I did was I replied to a status and I pasted an image. So each time I did that, it was crashing the system because if you are replying to a status, we actually expect you to enter a text. But what I did was I purposefully entered an image into the reply section, and I realized it crashed the whole software, the WhatsApp web. I tried it several times and I realized this was a bug. So I created a bug report and I had to report it. So if you play with the software a number of times, you would get to know how it behaves and you will develop that mindset on knowing how to catch a bug. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, so I just a little bit to add to that is also usually we usually say that have the mind like of a user, right? What Salom did was monkey testing, but it was also something that somebody will actually do, right? Someone will actually try and respond to a status with an image. Yeah, WhatsApp is not expecting you to do that because they haven't designed their platform to do that. They've designed it for you to send a text, but you can't tell me what to do, right? I decided I want to send an image. So I'm going to send an image anyway and see how your software is going to work. So APT, apt Gewaji, usually have that curiosity. That is one of the skills that a QA engineer or a software tester should have. That curiosity to be able to do things differently, right? Would always give you something different. Like it will give you an insight that usually is not uncovered, right? And that is one of the things that will set you up for success. Someone is asking, is testing everything possible?
You can't test everything. Like there's no way you can. You would cover majority of the test cases, but you wouldn't be able to test everything.
Yeah. Unless you don't live on Earth, there's nothing like 100% coverage. So I don't think testing everything is possible, but you can cover your most important requirements, which basically is what is important in that particular scope. Salom, so what has been your greatest challenge throughout your career? As QAs, we face a lot of challenges. Like at a point in my career, I feel like giving up and going to become a product manager because I feel like it's easier. Not like it's easier. If there are PMs here, please don't come for me. I'm not saying your job is, I respect your job, but I feel like, as QA, we are usually in the middle section because we have eyes everywhere, right? We can go into full-time development, be a software developer. We can go into DevOps. We can go to Scrum Master. We can become a PM. We can become business analyst. We can become we have eyes literally everywhere, right? So usually it's a struggle when you get to a point in your career where you kind of like plateau, maybe in the mid to senior area where sometimes you don't know the next thing. Your company is not pushing you to the next level. You yourself, you are stuck. You've learned some scripting or automation, but you don't know where to go next. What do you do? For you as Salom, in your 8 years of experience, what has been your greatest challenge?
So with my greatest challenge, personally, it has been trying to navigate between projects, because I joined one company where I was basically doing manual testing, API testing, mobile testing, performance testing, mobile testing.
One person. Why?
Yeah, one person. And it was a lot. And so, it was a challenge because I tried to let the team know this is what I'm going through, but it looked as if they were not buying into my idea. And in order to overcome that challenge, I had to incorporate so instead of writing some of the automation tests, I had to spend you need to spend time. I had to spend a lot of time overworking, trying to make sure I deliver on that And it was really difficult because you need to switch from, let's say you are doing mobile testing and they say, oh, do it, write it in um, that or Flutter. So I had to do it, and then we realized, hey, this next project, what is the deadline? Have you completed these test cases? Trying to like juggling between all these projects was something that let me say it was a big challenge. And so in doing that, you also need to know your time management. So once you have very good time management, you will be able to juggle between whatever thing that is being thrown at you. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in a nutshell, what you're trying to say is your the challenge that you experienced was you got overwhelmed more or less.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Trying to do everything at once.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I also experienced something similar because as a QA, I think unfortunately you don't get to choose a lot of the things that you want to do. Right? It's like usually a set of people or the company that you work with decides for you, even though you might probably know a best practice. Right? Like I haven't ever heard anybody tell me to write automation in that like that.
Exactly.
Right, like why would you want to choose that like when there are so many other like options to work from a QA perspective? You understand it, you know that you can approach it in the best way possible, but someone has decided that they want to see it in that, so it means you have to go and learn that. It stretches you to be able to learn, but at the end of the day you only learn that to accomplish the project, and maybe if you want to pursue it better you can, but if not, you're just juggling a lot of things and you get very overwhelmed. So, Solom, I shared in the same light with you on that. So yeah, we have 4 more questions. Someone is asking, how is the QA job market currently like? Where are some of the sites you can apply for jobs? Because most sites have ghost jobs.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So yes. So let me read the question. Is it
So how's the job market like? And where are some of the sites that you can apply for jobs? Because most of the jobs sites are ghost jobs.
Yes. So I wouldn't say so. The market is still booming, and you can still find jobs. So there are a lot of sites. I wish I could share them. I have a list of sites where I do apply. Maybe you can reach out to me. Maybe you can connect to me on LinkedIn or wherever. I can share all those sites with you. And also, there's one thing that I do is if I go to a job site and I see the job, I don't apply on the job site. I rather go to the company's website to go, and I go to the company's career page to see if indeed that job is actually a valid job. Because sometimes you realize they'll post a lot of jobs. You just be applying over there. Trust me, it doesn't get anywhere. So if I see it like this, I look at the position, I take a look at the company name, I Google the company, I go to the company's website, and I go to the career page to see if the job is actually there. So if it's there and you apply, there is once you apply, it directly goes to the company, and there's a high probability that if you're applying on the company's website, you are going to get a feedback from them.
Yeah. Totally agree with Salom. I mean, you just have to go the extra mile. It's not enough to just see the job on LinkedIn or see it on Google or wherever and just click apply and just apply and leave it. Sometimes, like he says, some of the jobs are being posted by external parties. So, and probably on the website, that job is actually taken down. They're probably not actually hiring for the role. So you need to go the extra mile. I think one of the things that we don't want is we are a bit slightly lazy with applications because we use the same application and we spread it across. We really want to change because the job market is very hard now. Since COVID, we all know this. It's even with the economy in Ghana, where Nana says that. But yeah, it's pretty much very tough, right? So try and go the extra mile or the company's website and look, like Salom already shared. Someone is asking, is Regis needed in automation testing? I usually don't know how to mention it. Is it Regis or Regex?
I pronounce this regex.
Well, whatever it is, Regex or Regex or Regex.
Yeah.
Who needed in automation testing?
So they actually so what regex means is regular expressions. So in short, so I would say it's useful in test automation, even though it's not always mandatory, but it also helps you to enhance your test automation by enabling pattern matching, your data validation, and also dynamic test scenarios. So, as I would say, it's useful, but it's not always mandatory. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. It's like a special thing in your day to day. You don't use regex, right? Like
Yes.
it's only necessary for certain conditions. So you might need it sometimes for something, but it's not always like, I don't know. Like typical software engineers even don't overwhelm themselves with writing regex, right?
Yes.
Why would you want to
Exactly.
do in that? Yeah. Two questions more. In a software where a job title, where in a software where a job title drop down shows limited list of job title. In a software where a job title shows limited list of job title, is this a bug? Example, three visible options are five, but you can search for more job title which are not visible in the drop down.
Um,
Okay. Do
I'm
you
not
sell them
really.
the concept? So
No, I'm not.
assuming that you're on like a job site, right?
Yeah.
Uh, where let's say after you search for a certain, you go to let's say careers page, right? And the results for the jobs are five, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drop down, you have five jobs. But when you search more, when you search or when you input like in your search bar, you see more than five jobs that have been listed. So if let's say the endpoint is probably is
Returning.
in dot jobs, right? When you go to dot jobs or dot careers, it shows you five jobs, right? Now after that five jobs, you are looking for you go the extra mile. There's a search button. You go for search and you look for extra jobs, right? Now it shows you more than five when you do a search, but when you go to hit the endpoint directly, it only shows you five. Is that a bug? I guess this is how
I'll,
I understand it.
yeah, I would definitely say it's a bad because yes, it's you saw five, but when you went there, it was more. So as it's not matching, I would definitely say it's a bad in my opinion. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, yeah. It's now it's tricky because
Yes.
one of the things it will require you to ask a bit more questions, right? So you probably ask the backend engineer or the PM, what should be the
Yeah.
scenario in this case, right?
Yeah.
Are we expecting that the endpoint should return? Because what I'm getting from this is probably something regarding pagination, right? Because sometimes an
Okay.
endpoint should return just 5 or 10 when you hit it directly, but on the page you are able to run a search, which is like making another call. So the dynamics of that are different. So sometimes if it's clearly defined in that scope that if it's five, it should return five. It's not a bug, but how you have described it, if you work on it like that, or you experience it, then it's likely a bug. So in this case, I think you should get clarification, right, from
Yeah.
your PM or your backend engineers. Uh, then I guess we'll see. Uh, yeah, I think that should be the all the questions that we have. Uh, yeah, that should be all the questions that we have. And yeah, it's been very interesting. I feel like I've really enjoyed the session. Yeah, Salom, do you have any last words? Anything for us? We on our end as MOT Ghana, we have a few things that we want to share with the community before we end this. But on your end, is there anything that you want to share with us?
Yeah. So I would encourage anyone, whether you're a senior QA engineer or upcoming QA engineer, to just keep learning and just keep enhancing yourself. I think that's the best thing that anyone can probably do. Myself, I still learn, even though I do have some experience, I still learn. So just keep learning. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Totally agree with Salom. Keep learning, keeping yourself updated with industry trends. Don't get lazy, because if you become lazy in the next couple of months, you might be unemployed. And if you're trying to find a job in this current market, you'll be very overwhelmed. Stay updated, learn new things. There are so many resources online. Ministry of Testing itself has posts a lot of blogs, that are usually very free, shares really free resources. Test Automation University, like I said, if you want to get into test automation, it's a very free platform. You don't have to pay a dime. so many resources from industry experts in testing, right? What makes it good is because all the people there are software testers. So the content they're giving you is actually from a testing experience, right? You can learn so many different tools and all of that, and it's very, very helpful. Outside of that, in our community, we have a few things that we want to highlight this year. This year, we want to, take the community work to a different level. And this is one of our many webinars that we have outlined forthcoming. So please brace yourself. And like Salom said, if you want to stay up to date, if you want to grow, one of the things that you can do is to be a part of community, right? Software engineers do that a lot. In Ghana, we have Dev Congress, which is like very, very high up there. There's almost 2,000 or more people in that community who share opportunities, with each other and all of that. But for us as QA, we are always playing catch up, right? So this is our opportunity to also do something different, also to grow, right? So don't shy away from this. We are all doing it together. We are all figuring all this QA thing out together. We are trying to encourage ourselves and build like a career and make what we believe in very good. So like a few highlights from us in May, we have a few things that we have outlined. So we have like a town hall that basically is going to capture like a very comprehensive things that the community has. So we are in the town hall. We are going to discuss so many things. Our community manager Ikena would speak a bit more about it on our pages. But yeah, we have a lot of things that we would have to sort of discuss in that sense. And yeah, I'm going to post a link into our stream for you to join our join our WhatsApp channel. If you're new here, you're not a part of us, you can easily join Ministry of Testing Ghana group. It's very easy, straightforward. Join, we're going to welcome you, and then we are going to share resources with you, tell you a bit more about what we do at MOT Ghana. And yeah, pretty much that. Also, we encourage you guys to, when we share resources or when we share content online, please engage, ask questions, right? Because we are doing this for you guys. We are doing this for the community. And yeah, basically we are trying to grow together. So when we engage, please also try and be responsive and yeah, share feedback where necessary, ask questions where necessary, and let's basically grow together. I think in a nutshell, that's all I'm just trying to say, right? Let's try and grow together, and yeah, you never know, opportunities. That's basically what community is about. We can share opportunities with each other and all of these. Yep. So that should be it. I'm not sure if we have any final words, but this should probably be the end of our webinar, which has been very insightful. I have loved, the session. It has been very great for us. You can follow us on LinkedIn at MOT, Ministry of Testing Ghana. You can follow us on Meetup. So basically meetup.com, go to meetup, meetup.com, look for Ministry of Testing Accra. You'll find us there, join our community. The link for our WhatsApp page has been posted in the YouTube chat. You can click on that, come and join our group. On WhatsApp, we can engage and share resources and all of these. So thank you guys so much for coming. And Salom, thank you so much for taking the time to share your insights and your experience with us today. We don't take it for granted, and yeah, thank you so much for that. Do you have any last words? We have to hear from you for anything. Yeah, we already said some last words, but this time just hear your voice before we go.
Yeah, so make sure you connect with a lot of people, because once you connect, you will definitely get more insights from a lot of people. So your connection, your learning is something that I will leave everyone with.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's a Saturday. Go outside, touch some grass, do something exciting for yourself, and see you another time.